Washington's winning streak is no more. Seattle came to town and defeated the football team 22-15. Welcome into the game presented by BDO. Julie Donaldson, Santana, and Zach Selby. Okay, guys, coming into the season, this game you would have automatically put a big old L up there for. But the way the team has been playing as of late, no, you can't count any team out. Washington is a difficult out, and we had the opportunities to win this all up into the last few seconds. Santana, give me your unfiltered reaction.
My unfiltered reaction, there's no more victories, but I think we have something special brewing here. So I'm very impressed with what these guys displayed the other night.
Okay, so after the L, you're saying the locker room still feels pretty good about themselves.
Well, I'm not saying they probably feel good about themselves because we don't like to lose, but from a fan's perspective, from a person on the outside looking in, you don't come away from that game and saying, man, we suck. You come away from that game and say, all the guys we had missing, the key guys, that is, these guys went out there and still had a chance to really be in that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really something that I wanted to mention. I think we have to remember this, is that this team has done multiple starts on both sides of the ball, linebackers, quarterback, running back, and they still found a way to almost win the game. And it's frustrating that the mistakes happened, but this young team really came back and showed that they've still got some talent there, still have some fight in them.
All right, that also starts with what we had at quarterback because Alex Smith unable to go with a calf injury. So in comes Dwayne Haskins Jr. Hadn't played since week 4, but had all the time during the week with the first team reps. Those are the only times that he did have with them. Let's get straight to breaking down his performance. This week's Haskins read progression is presented by FedEx. Santana, he was throwing the ball. That's about all they did. They didn't seem to want to try to run it too much. 55 times he had passes thrown, completed 38 of them. You're a receiver. I don't know what you were expecting out of him, but how about we go with that? What were the realistic expectations during the limited time he had with the team and then what you saw from him? And even the second half was different from the first.
Yeah, I expected a little rust to be, on him, from the start. I know that situation was probably, not the proper situation you want to see him in, us having a winning streak and then now he's forced into the game again. It has to be the starter after what he's been through the last few months. But some of the things that stand out to me the most is just, ball placement, decision making. Some of those things are still, not quite where it needs to be on, the level that he's playing on right now. He gave us a chance at time. I think even he will see, if I place the ball a little differently, if I anticipate, a couple of passes here and there, I might have a couple of guys still streaking down the field, still running down the field right now with those opportunities to put up points. So I wasn't highly disappointed, but I was, I didn't come into the game saying that Haskins is going to be phenomenal because he had this time off. No, I just wanted to see a little bit of improvement, and he showed just that a little bit.
And that is something to take away from it. He also said that after the game, he's going to learn from this game should he have to go again moving forward against Carolina. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with Alex Smith, but it's just another game underneath his belt, and he really hasn't had many starts. He hasn't had a lot of experience. And Zach, you're even pointing out that he's kind of just been thrown right into it a lot of times throughout his career without even having that proper setup. But you did see him get out there, use his legs as well. And again, he said he got mad after the first half, and he had them moving down the field in the second half. He had them working their way back.
Yeah, he really did. And that was after that second interception, you really started to see his decision-making start to improve. I mean, he was showing off the throws the showed of his arm, and then also he was able to throw the ball away occasionally when he needed to, and even like you said, go down there and use his legs to get the chains moving a little bit. Now the interceptions were obviously negatives. I mean, Scott Turner said last week that he feels like the work that Dwayne's been putting in so far with Alex as a starter is going to pay off eventually, and I think that showed itself at times Sunday, especially those last 2 touchdown drives. I mean, there's still room to grow. Obviously, the progress was there occasionally, and that's something that you really should be looking forward to, for Dwayne's future.
And that takes care of Haskins for this part of the show. Just as Haskins was able to take control of the play and make adjustments, you have options with your shipments. Use FedEx Delivery Manager to help you take more control over your residential deliveries. Let's go over to the defense, the performance that they put up. They had a few missing pieces. DeShazier Everett is now on IR as he underwent surgery. Linebackers Kevin Pierre-Louis and Cole Holcomb were not out there as well. Cole Holcomb a bit of a surprise as he was in the concussion protocol. But Seattle took advantage in the run game, Zach, 181 total rush yards. What do we take from that? Where do we put the blame, and kind of what happened?
You know, I did still see the holes in the defensive line that really kind of stuck out to me. Chris Carson was finding a lot of easy holes, and then Carlos Hyde also. I mean, the tackling on that 50-yard touchdown they had, it just wasn't there, which is not something we've come to really expect out of the Jack Del Rio defense. And I'm sure if there's anybody who had some things to say after that game, it was definitely Jack Del Rio to those players. But, you know, I will say this to their credit. After that 50-yard touchdown run, I think they only had 5 yards rushing after that, which is, I mean, it shows the adjustments that they made, but it kind of goes back to what Daron Payne said after the game. He really wished that, you know, they would kind of get that going a little bit quicker, otherwise they wouldn't have to play catch-up ball so often in games like they do normally.
Santana, the defense gives the offense a chance. Coming out of the half, though, uncharacteristically, they allowed an easy, quick touchdown by Seattle. But Russell Wilson also got out and ran on them a little bit, and they did force a turnover. They didn't score, though. If they'd have scored, we'd have won this game. Can we criticize them for that?
We can criticize them for what we won. I think when you really look at the big picture of things, yes, we missed those guys on our defense, but that game wasn't as lopsided as it seemed. You know, think about it. We had 2 turnovers, 2 costly turnovers, and after every half, our team either giving up 7 or 3 points for the entire rest of the game. So, you know, these guys did just that. They still went out there and did their part. To me, I believe that there was one big run away from being more into that game. If we don't let Russ get loose, and I think that was a little bit of, containment by those guys up front. I believe Young and, if I'm not mistaken, Payne, they got out of their gaps a little bit. Russ doesn't get that big game. This game is a lot different than what it seemed to be, or what it was, what the outcome came out to be. So I'm not really that pissed with that, because just knowing so many guys was missing, but I know those guys are just, chopping at the bits, knowing that they could have had a different outcome if they would have just, did what was asked.
Look, it was an L, but there are some good things, as we are saying, you can take out of this game. So let's get to Selby's stat of the game, presented by BDO.
So I want to stick with the defensive line here, particularly on a play that helped turn things around for the defense. Montez Sweat batted up a pass from Russell Wilson, which was his 6th of the season, and that ties him for 3rd most in a single season for a Washington defensive lineman. Who was there to get that ball by none other than Daron Payne, and he got his first interception of his career, which makes him the 9th defensive tackle in franchise history to get an interception, and the first since Cornelius Griffin in 2008. Now, Daron said after the game that Sam Mills is always preaching to the defensive line that batted passes turn into interceptions, and for the first time, those preachings turn into blessings on Sunday, and it just shows the kind of progress and impact this defensive line can make on a game.
Turnover Thursday has been working. That is something that defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio has been installing all season long, as we're seeing the rewards from that. Santana, give me somebody who stood out to you in this game.
I have to say our secondary. Honestly, coming into this game, I didn't know what to expect from those guys. I'm like, I'm just sitting there just watching the game, almost biting my fingernails that I don't even have nothing left. But the secondary collectively went out there and did a great job, I think. You held Russ to 180-some yards, I believe, or might be a little less than that. And you have 2 guys, I think, 2 of the most productive duos in this league, in Lockett and Metcalf. You held those guys all day long. So I got to give it up to our secondary as a whole. Those guys have stood up in some critical situations, especially, this past weekend.
Coach Rivera adheres to the mindset that, put it behind you. The streak is over. It was a loss. Because coming up next is another game, and it's his former team, Carolina. When we come back on the game, we'll get a little bit deeper into how motivated Coach will be going up against Carolina.
Yeah, things are a little different this year.
Happy holidays! And we wish you a Merry
But it's good to know you can count on holiday scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Multiply the cheer. Please play safely and responsibly.
Oh my
Mom, I'm finished.
We pray each day. May you come home and be
One more?
okay. For now, we wait for you to come home.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
My favorite football memory is 2017, my senior year, playing Arkansas State at home. It's the last drive of the game. We're in cover 3. I'm playing vision coverage, and it's the game-winning drive. And I pick it on senior night, and we win the game.
That was Jeremy Reeves with his favorite football memory, presented by Comcast Xfinity. We're back here on The Game, and coming up next for Washington will be a very familiar team in the Carolina Panthers. Of course, head coach Ron Rivera lost his job after losing to Washington last year down in Carolina, and he decided to bring all of his coaches with him here. Now, he's gone out there, Santana, and he said, this is not so much a revenge game, but instead it's going to be a game that gets them to the playoffs, because should they win, should the Giants lose, we would have the top spot in the NFC East. It could be a celebration. Santana, he says it's not a revenge game, but how much do you think he's motivated about going up against his former team with all the coaching staff that he has that was there as well?
We have 2 reasons to be motivated. 1, this is the team that fired him. 2, this is a game that's very, pivotal for our chances of going to even having a chance at the postseason. So I think those two reasons right there will make him have one of those weeks where he's getting after these guys right now, letting these guys know, come Wednesday, come in here with a different mindset, because I really want to win this game.
He can say whatever he wants, but wouldn't the best revenge be clinching the top spot in the NFC East, winning the division against your former team? Nothing more needs to be said, and to do it at home at FedEx Field. But no game is an easy out on any given Sunday. Any team could win, even despite Carolina struggling at 4-10. Zach, what problems could they pose?
Well, I think you really have to look at this receiving core that they had. Now, Seattle had a really solid group in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and those boys, but this other group coming in from Carolina, they got Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, probably one of the better receiving groups in the NFL right now. And we don't know what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey. He says he wants to finish this season at some point, but we don't know when he's going to be there. But you also have to be prepared for the situation that he might be out there as well. So this offense that Carolina has is potent, even though it hasn't really gotten to a lot of wins lately. So this secondary is going to be tested once again. And so far, it's really stepped up to that challenge. I'm looking forward to see what they do, coming off a pretty solid outing against the Seahawks.
Tana, let's talk a little bit about those 1,000-yard receivers. You don't really get that in the NFL. Could be very dangerous. How motivated do you think Carolina will be?
I'm pretty sure they're very motivated. I was scratching my head earlier, just going over my notes, and I'm like, hold on, DJ and Robbie Anderson has 1,000 yards? That's unheard of. You don't see that much. I think, just to see these guys are doing some of the same things, and just to know what they have out there at quarterback. I'm a big Bridgewater fan. He's from Miami. He's a guy that I watched play high school ball. So I know if he can get the job done, we have to get after him, because he's a guy that, you have to worry about in that pocket. He knows how to manipulate things and get the ball down the field. So we have to make sure our defense, our front seven, is A1 that day.
Look, it's a feat, and it's somebody they're going to have to contend for to be able to get the win in this one. So, yeah, they could win the NFC East. Zach, we shouldn't celebrate too soon, but the odds that Washington does?
I think it's pretty strong, honestly. And if you, I think Sunday Night Football had some kind of great statistical picture on during halftime. I mean, basically that they have a 73% chance of making the playoffs, which would be phenomenal. And if you look at it, I mean, I think they can match up really well against the Panthers. And then you look at what the Giants have against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews and J.K. Dobbins and that powerful offense that they have running the ball. It bodes well for them. But as Logan Thomas said after the game, it doesn't matter what happens externally as long as they take care of take care of their business, essentially. And, it doesn't matter what happens with the Giants, whether they lose or win. If they don't win against the Panthers, it just doesn't matter.
In Santana, look, the Eagles are struggling, but maybe Jalen Hurts to finish it up. Should he be going? He's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too far ahead, but yeah, Jalen Hurts is definitely looking good. I'm happy for him because I was one of his fans. But right now, what's in our face, what's in our our grasp is just taking care of the Panthers. And I think if we take care of this week and then we take care of next week, we all can feel happy regardless of what happens. That we went into the postseason, on a high, winning. You don't want to go in there, scratching and crawling trying to get in there, especially losing. So I think everyone would be satisfied with just victories regardless of what's the outcome.
All right, so Washington wins, the Giants lose, NFC East is ours. We'll see if there's a celebration next week. Thank you to everybody for watching the game presented by BDO, of course. You can find us on our YouTube channel and our website. On YouTube, subscribe, like, listen, and leave comments as well. We'll see you next week, hopefully celebrating a division title.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. Both with serious rugged performance and serious capability. So while others might be dreaming of winter wonderlands, you could be shattering expectations with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the Pilot.
The landscape has changed, and not for the last time. The rules of business are being reinvented with a more flexible workforce, by embracing innovation, by looking not only at current opportunities, but ahead to future ones. Resilience is the ability to pivot again and again for whatever happens next.
People who know BDO.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol. Live here.
Cyndi Lauper. Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
Here we come a caroling among the leaves so green. Here we come a wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you and to your family too.
Yeah, things are a little different this year.
Happy holidays! And we wish you a send.
But it's good to know you can count on holiday scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Multiply the cheer. Please play safely and responsibly.
I choose VA because they made me whole again.
I choose the VA because the VA cares.
I choose the VA because they provide seamless care through all stages of life.
I choose VA because it helped me with my PTSD.
I choose the VA because they make me feel important.
I choose VA because they've saved my life.
I choose VA because I'm a veteran and I enjoy serving veterans.
Choose VA today. For more information, visit va.gov.
It's all-wheel drive season, and your local Honda dealers are bringing the best deals of the year. It's clearance pricing during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Dash through the snow to a rugged and adventurous Honda. Check out the entire all-wheel drive truck and SUV lineup. CR-V, HR-V, Ridgeline, Pilot, and Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Clearance pricing is here, but it won't last long. Don't miss clearance pricing at the Happy Honda Days sales event, now at your local Honda dealer.